we're taking adventure to all new heights. Today's challenge is a rite of passage for all rock climbers that want to be considered crack climbers. It's rock climbing in its purest form. The rock is coming out above me, kind of pushing me away with no holds and no preset bolt. And it's pretty intimidating to look down. It's like every single step you take, the wind's trying to sweep you off the mountain. Which means it's my courage, my wits, and my strength versus the intensity of the mountain. It's the ultimate adventurous challenge right now on the Wildlife. This is single-handedly the most extreme thing I have ever done in my life. And this is the view from the top of Monkey Fish. The most prehistoric fish that we can even think of right now. And that's how it's done! That is one big Dungeness crab. All over the place. That's all I can do just to hang on. This is the Wildlife.
The Wildlife is presented by Next Adventure.
Cougar Buttress stands tall in scenic Central Oregon. A great traditional climbing challenge for those who look to test their hands and feet on the rock.
Because this is traditional climbing, or trad climbing, and there's no bolts in the wall for you to clip your quick draws into, you know, the two carabiners, what you're trying to do is get these things called cams and nuts. And you're trying to squeeze those into the cracks and clip those in to your rope, and that becomes your new anchor point. You're still using ropes to hold you up there so that you don't fall to your death. Nothing fun about that. But other than that, the only anchor points you have are your hands and your feet. So you're jamming stuff into cracks and using your strength to keep you there. And this is the base of the route right here. This is called a chimney, pretty aptly named. We're gonna climb right up through here, and then the sky's the limit. Most of the gear for this is pretty straightforward. Got a shell just in case it starts to sprinkle a little bit. This is a sling. It's gonna go over the top so I can start clipping stuff on it, just easy access on and off. Handy dandy climbing pack. The ever important and always necessary climbing helmet. The special shoes. These things are cool because, as you can see, there's no tread on them, but they're built to grip the wall. And on this surface, these things are lifesavers. My harness. Last but not least, my chalk bag. Because as you start climbing, hands start to get a little sweaty, so I want to dry my hands out, give me a little bit more grip. It's time to get suited up, start the climb. It's gonna be a really big challenge, probably one of my biggest tests as far as rock climbing goes. I've never climbed something quite like this. This is andesite, it's really sharp. It's got these jaggeds, but it's also can be hollow and can flake off at times. So you've got to be really careful about your holds. Every single move I make has to be calculated. Planning every single move. All right, it's go time.
They say every journey starts with a single step. Well, when climbing straight up a rock wall, that philosophy is applied as well, but an inch at a time. Assisting me on the rock will be fellow climber Jim Ablau. It's important for all rock climbers to have a climbing partner. When you first get on the rock, your hands and feet need to quickly recall the muscle memory necessary for several hours of intense climbing. Starting out in a chimney is a good way to make your path upwards on the rock. The holds aren't plentiful, but they are allowing me to aggressively move up the first pitch.
Since it's not like your average everyday rock climbing gym where it's just holds that you can grab onto and climb, forces you to really focus on good hand grips in the cracks. As you can see, my knuckles are already, right in the first split, just completely tore up. My fingertips are just numb. It's like sandpaper, rubbing on them over and over again. I can't feel anything in my fingertips. You should really pay attention to your next handhold, your next crack. It's really technical.
This form of adventure is all about body control and trusting your skills. It's a long way to the top, and all you have is your goal to reach the peak and hopefully the pain threshold to make it. Coming up on The Wildlife.
Get my fist in there, jam it down. And that's a good anchor point. Our forearms are just burning right now. When visiting beautiful Central Oregon, the resort here at Eagle Crest has a variety of lodging and recreational activities, with outdoor fun ranging from rock climbing and biking all the way to golf and day hiking. They also have state-of-the-art sports and fitness facilities and day spas. Eagle Crest has various housing options, from your multiple room lodgings to your personal-sized chalet. It's perfect for families, business outings, and even your golfing foursome. You are guaranteed to find a little bit of something for everyone.
We've made it to a good point on the first pitch, but there is a lot of intense crack climbing to go to reach the top.
I'm at the top of the first pitch, about to make my way up to the second staging point up there. The sun's kind of fading in and out, and with the wind chill up here, it's making it really cold. Really cold. So I'm ready to start climbing and get the blood flowing, get some heat back in my veins. That first pitch was kind of long, though the second pitch isn't quite as long as the first one, but there's a lot more cracks, kind of a bigger chute to drop into there, which makes it a little bit more technical. So here we go.
The start of the second pitch has allowed me to get off to a good pace, keeping my blood pumping and my focus on the best holds. With my hands getting tired, it's that much harder to remove the cams from the rock, but I have to keep myself at a good stride on the second pitch.
Last two pitches down. Our forearms are just burning right now. But the plus side is there's no beating the view.
There's nothing like the challenge of pushing yourself. To climb in a setting like this really helps appreciate the playground of Central Oregon.
All right. Pitch number 3. Let's do this. One of the things I always try to do when I'm rock climbing is remember that my hand holds are here to keep me to the rock, and my footholds are to propel me upwards. You don't want to grab something and try and do a pull up with your arms. You want to find a good foothold. Handholds there to stabilize you, and then you're pushing with your legs. That is an absolute energy saver when you're trying to make it to the top. The other thing is to remember to keep your hips as close to the rock wall as possible, because if you're sticking way out here, your center of balance is leaning way out. Okay. more technical here.
Crack climbing is a test of fingers, toes, and inches. And with 3 pitches to go, I have a lot more inches to climb.
I am getting really tired.
Coming up on The Wildlife.
This is single-handedly the most extreme thing I have ever done in my life. Pretty intimidating to look down.
The Wildlife is presented by Next Adventure.
The first few pitches have put up several tests for this first-time crack climber. I'm constantly searching for the best holds to use.
Right here's a great example of the cracks that I've been dealing with. I can get my hand in there, but I can't make a fist with it. So when I get my hand inside a crack like that, I've got to stick it in and cup it. Just kind of making the best anchor point I can with that. And the little bit wider ones, I can either make a fist this way, try and twist it in place, or I stick it in like this, make a fist, and I shove my thumb in there. It's not glamorous, and it hurts quite a bit, but it'll keep you solid when you need to hang on. Here's another good one right here. Get my fist in there, jam it down, and that's a good anchor point. This is the section that starts to get real tricky. The only holds that I have here are in this little crack. So the way I have to climb this is by turning my body, using the friction from my rock climbing shoe to grip the wall. It's called smearing. Gotta trust that I can get enough pressure on that to hold me against the wall. If I can get enough on there. This is what you call maximum exposure. The rock is coming out above me, kind of pushing me away. All I've got is this flat surface to kind of hug to. And it's pretty intimidating to look down and just see the bottom of the cliff straight down. All right, I'm gonna move. Okay. I think one of my biggest foes of the day has got to be the weather. It's going from cold to hot, severely windy. Because the wind is rushing down this canyon, gets caught up in those little chimneys, just blows straight up the chute. So all this little dust and dirt and pebbles just starts blowing straight up into your face. So needless to say, nature's not exactly on my side today.
With more surface below me than in front of me, I'm starting to feel the effects of hundreds of feet of climbing. This is the test. This is what all crack climbers have to push through to reach the top.
my gosh. I am getting really tired. This is single-handedly the most extreme thing I have ever done in my life. Okay, I've got to make it to the top.
Coming up on The Wildlife.
I'm just gonna take my time, focus, ignore my throbbing feet. It's like every single step you take, the wind's trying to sweep you off the mountain. All right. Last pitch. Oh, it's been a long climb, and this last pitch looks easier, but it's got all this loose rock all over the place. So as much as I want to just scramble on up it, I've got to be really careful. I'm tired, and I've got to focus so that I don't mess up right now. Plus, at the top up here, the wind is picked up. So you'll take a couple steps, feel a really strong breeze. You can even hear it whistling through some of the rocks. So I'm just gonna take my time, focus, ignore my throbbing feet, and head to the top. The wind is definitely kicked up. It's like every single step you take, the wind's trying to sweep you off the mountain. But I'm gonna make it to the top. We've reached the top. Woo! Look at this. Definitely worth it.
The view from the top of this challenge is such an amazing added bonus. We've earned a viewpoint of Central Oregon that only a few have experienced. Now I understand why climbing this rock is a rite of passage.
This is the wildlife! We made it to the top. Now I'll see you at the bottom.
What took me hours and thousands of inches to climb is descended upon in a matter of minutes.
Very nice to be back at the bottom. I want to say on solid ground, but you know, home and safe. Cougar Buttress was everything they said it was, and I can understand now why it's a rite of passage for crack climbers. I mean, it was absolutely intense. Whew. I mean, I got pretty chewed up. The top had a view that you could see for miles. You could see Asia. You could see so far. It was amazing. When I was rappelling down, I was actually looking at the route that I climbed, and I was actually blown away by it. I was like, I'm not good enough to climb this route. It blew me away. There's, you know, arêtes that stick out, and there's all these ceilings and roofs. I cannot believe that I made it up that. This was, as I've said 100 times, my biggest challenge.
With a successful challenge on the rock at Cougar Buttress, we roll to Breedlove Guitars to find the source of even more rock. Central Oregon is known for its great outdoor adventure, but it's also home to one of the great guitar makers in the country.
Like to see the shop?
Yeah, I'd love to see the shop.
Right.
The Breedlove Guitar Company creates one-of-a-kind instruments right here in Bend, Oregon. Their music shop builds exclusive guitars, basses, mandolins, and ukuleles for stage and studio artists. For these talented designers, the process for making this form of stringed music is all about precision and love. The entire creation is crafted to perfection to look as beautiful as it sounds. Every guitar is handmade with hours and hours of detail work, as these artists aim to make each guitar a masterpiece. You won't find a finer instrument than a Breedlove guitar, and the music they make tells the truth.
Hey there, Grandfather, it's me. You're not gonna believe what I just did, because I can hardly believe it myself. I just climbed over 800 feet from the valley floor to the top of Cougar Buttress. I had to climb through all kinds of crazy pitches and cracks. It was unbelievable. Got kind of tore up in the process, but against all odds, against poopy weather that was raining and it was cold and super windy, against rocks that wanted to crumble underneath my feet, I made it to the top. And the view from the top, like you always tell me, is definitely the best. I know that if you're here right now, you'd definitely be proud of me.
The Wildlife is presented by Next Adventure.